Chevron saw this disaster coming long before anyone else wanted to admit it. In August 2024, California's largest and most historic refinery operator packed up its headquarters and fled to Texas, ending a 140-year legacy in the Golden State. At the time, it was headline news, but few understood the true gravity of the move. The CEO, Mike Wirth, was remarkably candid about the decision. He stated simply that California had become too tough a place to do business. But the most damning revelation was about their workforce. Wirth admitted they could no longer convince employees to move to California because the cost of living had become insane. Think about what that actually means. Chevron is a company worth $300 billion. These aren't minimum wage workers struggling to get by. These are petroleum engineers, corporate executives, and top-tier talent making six figures. And even they said no thanks to California. CEO Mike Wirth told reporters they were moving 2,000 jobs from San Raymond to Houston because maintaining a large employee base in California was no longer sustainable. The company already had 7,000 employees in Houston compared to just 2,000 left in California. And even those remaining jobs are set to migrate to Texas over the next 5 years. Chevron's exit was the canary in the coal mine. They knew exactly what was coming. And when your biggest operator abandons ship, that should have been the warning for everyone. The domino effect. Refineries go dark. Within months of Chevron's announcement, the dominoes began to fall. Phillips 66 declared they were shutting down their Wilmington Refinery by December 2025. That date has now arrived. This isn't a future projection. It is happening right now. The Wilmington Refinery produces 139,000 barrels per day, roughly 8% of California's total capacity. Then Valero dropped the bomb. They announced they are shutting their massive Benicia refinery in April 2026. Taking out another 145,000 barrels per day. When you combine these closures, that is 17% of California's refining capacity vanishing in less than a year. The scale of this loss is hard to overstate. We are watching the dismantling of the state's energy infrastructure in real time. The price shock, staring at $8 gasoline, the financial impact of these closures is going to be catastrophic. USC professor Michael Wera recently released projections that are nothing short of terrifying. His data shows gas prices could hit $6.43 per gallon immediately after Phillips 66 closes this month. But that is just the beginning. Once Valero shuts down in 2026, prices are projected to spike to $8.43 per gallon. That represents a 75% increase from current prices. And here is the scary part. These projections assume that nothing else goes wrong. They assume no refinery fires, no unscheduled maintenance, and no global supply disruptions. One hiccup, one mechanical failure, and we could easily be staring at $10 gasoline. The logistics nightmare, an energy island. What makes this situation truly dangerous is California's isolation. California requires a special gasoline blend called CARBOB, California Reformulated Gasoline Blend Stock for oxygenate blending. Almost nobody else makes it. Over 90% of this specific fuel is produced by California refineries. When these refineries close, the state cannot simply truck in gas from Texas or Arizona. California is effectively an energy island. There are no pipelines crossing the Rocky Mountains. There are no connections to Texas refineries. This leaves only one option, importing fuel by ship from Asia. Only a handful of refineries in South Korea and India are even capable of making California's special blend. The shipping nightmare is already playing out. In May 2025, California hit record imports of 210,000 barrels per day, mostly arriving from Asia. It takes at least 4 weeks for a tanker to cross the Pacific Ocean. If there is a sudden shortage like a refinery fire or an explosion, California is stuck with astronomical prices for at least a month while ships slowly make their way across the water. We are talking about tankers from South Korea, India, and even China carrying the lifeblood of California's economy. This is not a supply chain. This is a prayer that nothing goes wrong in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Fragility of the system. We already know how fragile this system is. California Energy Commission data shows that when the state's gasoline supply drops below 15 days, prices spike dramatically. If it drops below 13.5 days, prices can jump over $1 per gallon instantly. We are currently dancing on that edge. After these refineries close, the state will need to import 30% of its gasoline just to meet basic demand. The February 2025 Martinez refinery fire gave us a preview of this chaos. One fire at one refinery sent prices jumping 42 cents per gallon in Northern California and 27 cents in Southern California within days. Wholesale margins shot up to 90 cents per gallon, double the normal levels. And that was just one refinery having problems for a few weeks. Imagine what happens when 17% of capacity is gone forever. The policy failure. The irony is that California's regulators know their policies are failing. The California Energy Commission recommended in August 2025 to pause the enforcement of refinery profit margin caps rules they passed just last year. They recommended not implementing these rules for at least 5 years because they finally realized the regulations are driving refineries out of business. They are literally admitting their policies failed. But it is too late. The refineries are already leaving. Chevron's executives were blunt about the difference in business climates. Andy Walls, their president of America's Products, compared the two states directly. He said of Texas, "They are welcome. Their industry is welcome." He noted how easy it is to do business in Houston because all competitors and suppliers are right across the street. Meanwhile, in California, a company that has been operating since 1879 could not even keep employees willing to live there. The timing of Chevron's exit was crucial. They announced the move in August 2024, right before the special legislative session that passed new, stricter refinery regulations. They saw the writing on the wall. The physical barriers, the logistical trap California has built for itself is airtight. Even if Texas refineries wanted to help, they couldn't. First, they can't make the special blend. Second, even if they could, there are no ships to carry it. The Jones Act requires UC flag ships to move fuel between U.S. ports, but the United States currently has only 5 ocean-going commercial ships under construction. In comparison, China has 1,794. There are literally no ships available to bring gasoline from Texas to California. The state has cut itself off from the rest of the country. The human and economic toll, the human cost of this is staggering. When gas hits $8 a gallon, filling a standard 20-gallon tank costs $160. For someone commuting 50 miles a day, that is over $500 a month just in gas. For delivery drivers, truckers, and anyone who drives for a living, this is economic death. Every product delivered by truck gets more expensive food, medicine, everything. Small businesses are already planning for the worst. A landscaping company owner in San Diego told reporters he'll have to add a $100 surcharge job just to cover fuel costs if prices hit $8, but that assumes his customers can even afford landscaping when they are spending $600 a month on their own gas. The panic is spreading to neighboring states. The governors of Arizona and Nevada, one Democrat, one Republican, sent joint letters begging California not to implement these policies. Why? Because their states depend on California refineries. When California runs short, Arizona and Nevada get cut off first. They are the collateral damage in California's energy crisis. The broader collapse, diesel and jets. Here is the really scary part that people forget. Refineries don't just make gasoline. They produce diesel, jet fuel, and heating oil, the products that keep civilization running. California's massive agricultural industry runs on diesel. Every tractor, every truck hauling produce, every piece of farm equipment needs it. When diesel hits $8 or $9 a gallon, food prices will explode. Then there is aviation. Jet fuel shortages mean airlines like Southwest, United, and American are already running scenarios for fuel rationing. Some international flights might have to stop in Hawaii just to refuel because California won't have enough jet fuel available. Business travel, tourism, the entire aviation economy could collapse. The irony is tragic. California grows more food than any other state, but it might not be able to afford the fuel to harvest and transport it. This isn't just about the price at the pump. It's about the entire economy grinding to a halt. Conclusion: the reality check. Chevron still operates 2 refineries in California for now. They keep saying they are committed to California operations, but actions speak louder than words. They moved their headquarters out. They are moving all corporate functions to Texas. They sold their 92-acre San Raymond campus. In February 2025, Chevron announced they were cutting 20% of their workforce globally, about 30,000 jobs. They are preparing for a different future, a future where California isn't their problem anymore. They will keep the refineries running as long as they are profitable. But the second the math stops working, they will $8 gasoline isn't a projection anymore. It's a countdown. Chevron got out while they could. Everyone else is stuck paying the price for a crisis that was completely predictable and entirely preventable.